Alright. Slam versus Vinchester with Ornlu over here. The final set of the Hidden Cup for qualifiers. Every other spot is taken. So we will see if we're going to see a Grand Slam today, or the Slam curse will be remaining and he's still going to have a bad luck in tournaments. This is definitely one of the bigger performances already from Slam, but he really wants to get into the main event of Hidden Cup, obviously. So who do you like in this setup more, though? That's what I want to ask you.
I'm gonna go Vinch.
Yeah, I'm also going Vinch. I feel like Slam is good, but Vinch, especially if he plays his peak game, Vinchester is a beast. Like, I'm legit surprised that Vinchester was something like seed 7 or 8 or so. I probably would have put, based on the qualifiers, I don't have that up just yet, but I'm gonna bring it up on the seedings. Hidden Cup 4 qualifier.
I'm not a Slam hater. I really like Slam. I just think I favor Vinchester slightly.
Yeah, Vinchester was seed 15, and that is like very, very low. As a comparison, Brew, for example, was 13, Modri was 10, and I'm trying to do things spoiler-free, so obviously I don't want to relate to their performances, but Vinchester at 15 feels super, super low to me, based on what you have seen from him in bigger tournaments.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going with Vinch here. I'm trying to be nice to Slam here, but I just feel like it's not going to be about the Slam curse of having problems performing in big tournaments. I feel like it's just Vinchester being a beast, and personally, if Vinchester was invited to the main event, I would have said, yeah, that's a good invite, because I think Vinchester's recent tournament performance is completely justified, or would have justified that very easily. With that, Islands, Gold Rush, Slopes for Slam, Hideout, Bay, Cross for Vinch. And what do we think about the civilizations?
Sorry, I went and did another test on High Tides to see if you could TC drop the middle, and I found 2 spots instantly.
So that was fake info then.
Yeah. Civs look incredibly normal. Goths for Vinch, I mean, that's normal for him.
Yeah, like Vinch, as much as Huang likes Celts, as much as Vivi likes Spanish, Vinchester loves Goths.
Yep. And then Celts, I think, is the secondary for him. Okay, here we got the first wreck. Wait, what? Oh, we got all the wrecks.
Yeah, that's the system that it is being done. That's why I said that we actually have our own pace. So
no, like at least one of the sets that I did, we were
the qualifiers,
the wreck.
Like previously it was wreck by wreck, but I guess Robo might not always be around for handling other wrecks. Like from an organizational and like synchronizing perspective, it's actually better to hand out wreck by wreck, but it is not always feasible because you need a constant admin presence for that.
Exactly.
So with that, we are gonna have number one, I'm going to launch it up and pause at like 10 seconds and then wait for you until you jump in. That seems to work out really well in the majority of the cases.
Yep.
So I will be paused at 10.
I am as well, just loading up the Age of Capture.
And I'm gonna give you the honor to do the countdown.
All right. So let us do a 3, 2, 1, go.
Ooh, and we have an interesting Civ matchup here.
Yeah. So welcome everybody to game number 1, the very, very last.
And Vinch is laughing on something. What is Vinch laughing on? Is he laughing on his base or what? He actually typed 11 on the chat. Now, if you have to add that Capture Age spec chat sometimes is bugged, so there is absolutely no reason for us to believe that it was this time frame. I've seen 18 seconds Imperial Age prompts. So it might have been something later in this game or something completely different in another game. We don't know what Vinch is laughing on.
Yeah.
With that, it's Mayans versus Incas. I think Aztecs was the global ban. I will have to double check, but Aztecs indeed was the ban of Slam. And it kind of feels like Vinchester goes for the budget Meso civilization here.
Rip.
But how do you like this matchup? Incas versus Mayans.
I feel like Mayans are just better. It feels like Incas are like the American Civ that people play when they cannot pick Mayans or Aztecs.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking as well. It's like your ultimate budget Meso civ. So, Archer-wise, the Mayans are better in terms of like Eagle Warriors in late game. Those are much better for Mayans as well. One thing that could be interesting to monitor though is depending on the Eagle switch of the players, Slingers could be a nice addition from Incas. That's not something that Mayans... If the Mayans go full Eagle, Slingers could be a little bit troublesome for them to deal with.
Yeah, like there are situations where Incas are better than Mayans, and it's not like Incas are worse than Mayans in every situation. Like they have different strengths and weaknesses. It's just in this particular instance, I feel like Incas kind of struggle against the other American civs. However, Slinger plus Eagle Warrior beats Pure Eagle Warrior like every single time.
Yeah, and you wouldn't even go for Spear Eagle Warrior here. If you are Meso or if you're Mayans. Both players actually have pretty awful bases. I'm looking at the gold mine of Slam, and that's like a full disaster. Super on the open on the north. No hope to defend the gold mine other than a tower, to be honest. And the Vinchester base isn't that great either, super open as well. So this is definitely one of the more open Arabia generations.
Yep. Seems pretty much the case. Notably, we do have a couple deer lured in here for Vinchester.
Yeah, it looks like Vinchester is going for the deer lures, whereas Slam's actually aggressively scouting his opponent. I wonder if he wants an early rush here. It's not going to be a pre-mill rush, but maybe an early post-mill rush, or maybe he wanted to block a vulture with the boar, but that is going to be too late for him.
Indeed, that will be the case. I think we could easily see drushes from both players, although I think I like Mayans a little bit more. Their eco is just a little bit better. It's not like Incas don't have plenty of relevant bonuses, it's just that Mayan bonuses are kind of a little bit stronger on average.
Yeah.
You're ahead like a villager, at least once Loom comes in. The longer lasting resources means that you're better equipped for a quick fast castle if you want to go for that. Or also, just a general drush, your eco's better.
Yeah, I feel like Winchester is using the Inca bonus as well. Like, he only make 2 houses so far, because the Inca houses fit 10 vultures inside it. In many cases, players just make the same amount of houses and just don't want to worry about population, like at later stage, like in mid-feudal or so. But you can actually skip a couple of houses with Incas if you want to, because of the houses having 10 vultures garrisonable, and it looks like we'll have men-at-arms from Vinch. One thing I want to ask you, though, is that Vinchester allows Slam to go for Mayans here, and knowing Vinchester, I'm somewhat surprised he didn't go for Gods here. We have seen this multiple times from Vinch. Intentionally allowing a Mayans pick from the opponent, and then picking Gods, because Mayans just completely die to Gods.
Well, on Arabia, I would say it's not that guaranteed, but it's definitely something that Vinch likes to do. And I'd still say overall Goths are favored versus Mayans.
Yeah, I feel like Vinch is just one of the best Gods players out there, so if there is one player that can make Gods work very well in Arabia as well against Mayans, that's Vinchester. And we have seen this multiple times. I'm not sure if it was tournament or rated game, but I have seen this multiple times from him that, especially now that Mayans have lost supplies, like, this was a thing after the supplies nerf came in, like Mayans Chinese losing it. And after that, Winchester started playing a lot around in Gods, pretty much using Gods as a counter pick to Mayans.
Well, yeah, I mean, the swordsman line is most useful against Eagle Warriors and Huskarls. And so the civs that kind of were bad against that anyway lost supplies, so that kind of feels bad, man.
It looks like it's men-at-arms on both players, but It's actually 23 pop for Slam, although, well, he's Mayan, so that's no surprise. That's the same 22 pop timing that Vinchester is having. Slam is a little bit behind, but...
Ooh, what is this?
What?
Gotta use that team bonus, man.
Which one?
The Mayan team bonus. Well, it's cost less.
Shot it.
Oh, I see. I see what you're referring to. I wasn't even surprised about this one. I've seen enough MBL games to say that, okay, whatever. Now, Vinchester had a very, very weak ego. I assume he ran into the TC fire here because that guy just got poked down very, very easily. And now that Slam is fully evolved, he's going to send his egos forward. And Vinchester is playing semi-open, going for a range, but here's the deal, that Ego can pick off the early archers, unlike, well, maybe a Scout can do that as well. And Vinch could actually get through these walls if he wanted to. There are some low HP walls, but he decides not to, starts running around, and that's not gonna happen for him. Nice walls from Slam overall.
Yep. Even gets a couple deer inside, so that's a little bit nice, as even though Mayans have the longer lasting resources, the fact that Vinch was able to take 2 deer and even has the extra llama, even taking another deer right now, means that his food income is going to be superior to that of Slam's.
Yeah, absolutely. So, wait, that's Slam you're talking about. Slam's food income is gonna be better than Vinch's.
No.
What?
Vinch already took 2 deer. He's now taking a 3rd deer, and he starts with an extra llama.
Yeah, and now he's going to say, oh dear. Like, Vinchester took 2 deer, but it's now oh dear because that's -1 vulture. So, and he's still very, very open. Whereas his men-at-arms weren't able to do anything on this side. Yeah.
Oh, I guess that... Oh, yeah, that woman's kind of stuck.
Oh, you're actually, like, probably 5 seconds behind now. I'm at 13:10 right now.
Oh, I'm like... Hold on, yeah, pause.
Okay.
I'm at 12:46.
Nice. I'm at 13:20 paused right now.
Okay.
What happened to you, Ornlu?
I did, like, open the scoreboard so I could...
Oh, that
make
pauses the game.
scoreboard.
That pauses the game. Actually, I need to open the scoreboard as well because it's best of 7. Alright, 13:20 is the time, so let me know when you're there.
Oh. Okay.
You passed it?
I'm a little bit ahead of that. 13:40.
Disaster co-caster. Alright. Wait. Wait, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, now we are
Why am I on
synced.
super speed?
Like, as much as I dislike casting live games compared to Rex, synchronizing with co-casters is a nightmare. When it comes to...
Why am I speeding through the game right now? Why is this happening?
Procaster.
Oh my god.
You have
this
to
is so annoying.
You have to slow the game down.
I legit...
You
The game just automatically went on super speed for some reason.
You have to pause and unpause within capture. Okay, what time you're at?
Okay, I paused in-game at 20:31.
What?
But, yeah, like, I'm insanely far ahead.
2031, man. It's 5 minutes.
Yeah. So, just, yeah, you can keep casting or something, or I don't even know. I don't even know how that happened. Like, I just think, like, I hit unpause and my game just flew off.
Interesting. Alright, let's talk about the fact that Stam is sending Voyagers to stone, okay? I'm trying to involve you as long as you're paused, because Slam is sending Voyagers to stone here in Feudal. And that to me feels like it's not going to be a 4TC boom. That to me feels like it's going to be a straight up plumed archer play.
Yeah, spoiler alert, though, Slam's not having a great time of things, though, with his, eco.
Well, that's definitely spoilers, because, so far he's fine, but truth of the matter is, there is archers coming forward towards him, and he is a little too low on the military, and there is still men-at-arms to bash through the walls, so that's probably the bigger concern here right now. So Ornlu is talking to us from the future, and here we are trying to just gonna, you know, so this is sort of a back to the future scenario here. We're trying to get back to the future. And I would assume that the problems will start happening based on the fact that Slam has one tile of Policide that doesn't have a house behind it. And oh boy, are we going to see another Slam tournament curse here? He's actually picking up some villagers from Vinch here as well. So, like, his counterattack is alright, but his numbers aren't looking that great as we're at 18 minutes right now. Oh boy. Oh boy. The Prophet has spoken from the future, and indeed, Slam is having an awful, awful time right now. And those men-at-arms are so strong still. Like, they're full HP men-at-arms, and they're so good at cleaning up skirmishers, and already it's a disaster if you can... Or if you have to use skirmishers against archers. Oh my goodness. This... oh my god. I'm not sure how fast you went through this one, so you may have, you know, not seen this.
I didn't actually really see anything because I was busy panicking.
Well, let's just say that Slam tried cleaning up 5 archers that have fletching, +1 defense and heal bonus, and supported by 3 men-at-arms with villagers. Spoiler alert, didn't work. Right now, Villager KD is 9-1, as Slam is losing his forward archers as well. What time are you at?
I'm at 2031.
Okay, I'm at 1931, so 1 minute away, but I feel like you have arrived for a GG moment.
Yeah,
because
maybe that was why. I don't even know.
Because, like, at this point, there's always that meme that there's a Slam curse, that he's just unable to perform in big tournaments, and I feel like, looking at this game, it kind of felt like it. Everything was so good, that Vinchester broke through the walls, and now, Slam is down by 14 villagers.
Yep, that's where I'm at.
And 2031 right now, so let's go.
Okay.
So, funnily enough, one thing I want to point out... Oh, there's Wheelbarrow. Wait a second. How is Vinchester only ahead by 11 wheels? Oh, he's going castle, that's why. He should have a 13 villagers, did he's going castle. Yeah. Welcome to the future once again, or... Yeah. Present. Welcome to the future. Well, it's present for your viewers, it's future for my viewers.
Yeah, something like that.
So now you can present the future to them.
Well... this is kind of a disaster for Slam. And I don't know exactly what happened. I mean, obviously you're saying he broke through the one tile of Palisade, but I guess Slam was just not there with his army in time. Vinch is ahead in, like, literally every way. And it doesn't really seem like Slam's going to have much of a chance. He's going to be trying to stonewall his base at this point and probably go into some plumed archers. But that is likely going to be a big problem.
Yeah, I feel like basically what happened for Slam is that he went 1 range, and he only made a couple of skirms, whereas his opponent was 2 ranges, and the men-at-arms were also there helping. Slam tried to re-wall the entire back of his wall with houses, but there was 1 tile missing. In fact, there was 2 more houses missing there as well, but the idea is that there was a tile missing, the men-at-arms and archers broke in, and then there was, like, Slam with 3 skirmishers and 1 archer against 8 archers and 3 men-at-arms, with a wide open base, and villagers just started dying left and right. Now, Slam could actually get to plumed archers, possibly. And I think the question is, what can Vinchester do to... Or where is that castle being placed? I think it's gonna be on the gold. So the question is, if Vinchester is gonna be able to push this base here, and get through that castle.
I don't think you need to worry about doing that if you're Vinchester. I think he's going to see just how defensively his opponent's playing and just add out, like, you know, 3-4 town centers and just kill him in Imperial Age.
Yeah, I feel like that's true, and honestly, the arena experience of Vinchester helps you a lot, because right now Slam is turning this into an arena, basically.
A little bit. Yeah, I thought CL was already out of the tourney.
Oh, man.
Slam is able to throw down a second town center, though, but...
Yeah, but if you think about it, Vinchester actually went for triple Borax Eagles and still able to afford the third TC here. And I mean, he's gonna mango down buildings. In fact, he could play for wood eco denial with mangonels. Because it's not like Slam has safe wood income or so.
Definitely not the case. But Vinch is only on the 2 TCs for the time being. So, I mean, he's going to stay ahead of his opponent economically, but he's probably not going to get much more ahead.
Yeah, but he doesn't, like, he seems like he actually wants to commit to this. He could stop making egos and just boom, but he wants to commit to this, and yeah, there isn't really a lot of doomed archers on the field right now. In fact, it's 15 army against 3, and there's definitely a lot of potential for Vinch to do damage here, and yeah, if this game wasn't over already, now it is.
Yeah, the castle is in such a position that it doesn't protect anything important. I mean, it protects the gold, but I mean, you're already with stone walls, so I feel like the castle had to be like where the weaker links were, right? With the houses. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, Vince just wanted to win the video game, and I certainly do not blame him.
Oh my goodness. Like, what should I say to this? I'm really not one of those people that likes to say, hey, there's a curse on Slam for not being able to perform in big events, but this kind of feels like it. And, well, reality just slammed him in the face, so to say.
Oh, yes. Indeed. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha.
I had to.
Ha.
You know I had to. It's like, when I'm casting Slam, I have to make a lot of Slam jokes. And if we were casting Fire series together, I would probably burn you out very, very easily.
Oh, yes, exactly. Uh-huh. Well, that was game number 1.
And my answer gone.
The Ray Raven. But yeah, let's see what game number 2 is going to bring.
Yeah, let's go. And what a better way to celebrate game number 2 with the good old-fashioned and completely unpredictable Italians versus Portuguese Mirror on Islands. I'm gonna pause.
You know what? I haven't seen enough. I'm at 10 seconds.
I am at 10 seconds right now, so you can do the countdown.
All right. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
And this time you didn't mess it up. Great. So, welcome to Islands. To what is apparently, just taking a quick look, a fairly balanced Islands generation. I have to say, one of the better ones.
Italians versus Portuguese mirror. Exactly. It is a mirrored Italians versus Portuguese, not mirrored with the civilizations, but a mirrored matchup compared to what we see all the time.
Now, here's the deal. That's actually an interesting debate to have because it's Islands Dark Age, so right now there's going to be absolutely nothing happening here for a moment. That I like Slam's decision to bring Vinch to Islands because Vinchester isn't really known as a water player. But in this entire qualifiers, we have seen Salt's members using Islands. Like basically every series where a Salt's member played, they used Islands as their home map. Talk about Dark, talk about Classic Pro, talk about Vinchester. So it's not like Salt's is that weak on water anymore, to be honest.
No, honestly, Vinch looked pretty solid on water last time I saw him versus Bugum. And, well, he doesn't have Portuguese this time. This time he has Italians. But I think Italians versus Portuguese, it's a totally fine matchup. I think Italians can totally take it. I don't think it's going to just be instant Portuguese stall things out and then win with Fetorias.
No, in fact, if you're Italians, you can't allow Portuguese to stall things out because it's, as I said, it's not even the Fetorias. It's about post-imperial is all about galleon warfare, and I mean, Portuguese have cheaper galleons, far better galleons, like extra HP, extra pierce armor. You can do the math on how much more punishment Portuguese galleon can take, plus Fetorias, and I think the combination of the three makes Portuguese insanely strong in post-im. That being said, I'm actually looking forward to, speaking of islands and speaking of Salts using it as a home map, I'm looking forward to seeing them in 2 pools. I'm hoping that they will sign up.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Notably, we have Vinch going to be luring a boar with his scout. So, certainly not going for a landing.
Yeah, I feel like this is still one of those moves that I don't like. It's the same thing as luring in a boar with the town center. I feel like it's an unnecessary risk, and if you get landed, you can never say that you won't get landed. Like, we have seen so many times in these qualifiers that you think it's not going to be a landing because your opponent's Civ is not really a landing Civ. But then you get surprised and you will have a HP lost on your scout. And it is sort of a backdock here for Vinch, but I wonder if he knows if it's a backdock or... Yeah, he knows it's a backdock, right?
He knows where the edge of the map is. Yes, he knows it's a back dock.
Yeah, like, what you have to wonder if he knows how big his island is here to the north. Because he might think that, okay, I'm gonna drop 2 more docks in front and basically make this sort of a side dock scenario, right? So he might actually be thinking in a side dock, but he doesn't know how big that island is, and in reality, this actually counts as a back dock.
Yeah, he sees exactly how big his island is, or at
Does
least
not.
in the necessary way.
He does not. He doesn't know that that island is bigger than he thinks. Like, he only sees the edge of this wood line where the relic is, but doesn't know exactly how big it is. And sometimes that can be misleading. Sometimes there could be a long peninsula here. Now, Vinchester is definitely one of those players that isn't shying away from a fast castle on islands here, especially Portuguese versus Italians. I think Italians fast cast into fire ships could be pretty devastating. And Slam's dock is very far away, so by the time Slam's galleys or fire guys would reach the fishing eco of Vinch, Vinch would be on the way towards Castle Age, I think.
Yep, I honestly think it is not at all a bad strat in the meta, but it looks like Vinch is not going to be going for a fast castle, or at least he's getting looms soon.
Then it's a landing. I would assume so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could point to a landing, although I don't really think that's...
Like, my problem with this is that,
Nah.
if this is a standard Grush, why are you making backdock? Like, backdock galley rush feels like a bad idea. Unless what Winchester wants to do, and someone did this in the qualifiers, I don't remember who, but keep a backdock with the sneaky fishing eco. I think it was Fire. It was Fire who did it once. Keep a sneaky backdock with the fishing eco and then do double docks on the front. I'm not sure if he can actually afford it, but he might be able to. And that would mean that his fishing eco isn't exposed to the opponent.
I think another possibility, especially with Italians, you go for 5 or 6 fishing ships, and then just make it have a slightly greedier opening. And then just go for, have a faster castle age time, and then just use the power of Italian timings.
I'm starting to not understand this one for Vinch. He might just play defensive here, though. Like, that's something I can imagine. And look at Slam, what he's doing. Preemptive walls. He doesn't know that his opponent is gonna land him, but he cannot deny this. Now, I don't necessarily like this overall. Like, it's just a big investment, and Vinch isn't going to land you anyways here. Well, you don't know that he's not going to land you, but I feel like until you're not confirmed that he's landing you, I feel like this is an overinvestment.
Yeah, 100% agree. This is such a waste. I mean, wood is not a resource you have just a bunch of extra right now. And they only went for 3 fishing ships, too, and they're even on shorefish!
Yeah, that's a disaster start for Slam. And I feel like Vinchester can actually play with Greedy. It looks like it's actually backdock galleys. But by the time Slam's fire galleys will get here, Vinchester is gonna have like 6-7 galleys out. This looks really good for Vinch and awful for Slam, to be honest.
Yep, so Vinch just wants to go with the galley approach. And to be fair, in a straight-up, like, the extra HP matters less in a galley war than it does in a fire ship war. Because galleys, they're just poking away at each other, and then they do a bunch of overkill damage usually. And he's even getting the very fast fletching upgrade. So it's just a bit of a greedier approach. But that is totally fine, especially with how things are turning out so far.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very, very good for him.
Watch?
I think
he did. Oh, he did.
Yeah, I think Slam opened with Town Watch. I was seeing that. Like, this is way too big of an... It's not even an overreaction. It's... I'm not going to say panic, but what's the word for this? It's like, he's so scared
Overly cautious?
No, it's not overly cautious, but he's legit scared of a landing. Because I would call this being scared of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely say that. Paranoid?
And it looks like the docks will be found here, but Winchester's gonna have quite a lot of galleys out by then, and indeed, Slime is switching to galleys immediately. But
yeah,
Vinch is walling
to fire
too.
galleys and then switching into galleys is actually a fairly strong play.
Look at this, Vinch is walling too now. For Vinch, I can justify the walling a little bit more than for Slam, because he went for back docks. So Slam can land him unnoticed, whereas for Vinch, like, Slam has front docks, so there should be a little option for Slam to land him, but Slam is here with the fire galley. And it's also only 2 docks for Vinch. So Vinch actually wants to go for a very greedy castlage. Look at those resources. He went for a fast mill. He has been on berries for quite a while. And there's the berries. So indeed, that actually wants to be a very greedy fast castlage, probably selling stone as well.
I don't think you need to. I mean, it's Italians. He already has the gold he needs to click up easily. And can just buy some food, I guess. And it's only 680 food.
Yeah, true, that as well. In that case, he just needs market for a second building. But he shouldn't lose those galleys, as that galley was spinning around for a moment. Looking at the numbers, it's 8 galleys versus 7, though. He was only on 2 docks. And that could backfire very soon, that he's getting outnumbered on water pretty badly.
Vinch was actually probably a little bit late on the market, because as Italians he could have clicked up definitely faster. But he's still going to be well ahead of Slam, who, going for the triple dock approach, has actually just only a slight lead right now in terms of worship numbers.
Yeah, because it's only 2 docks versus 3. And also there's cheaper gold cost on those Portuguese ships. I'm not sure why Vinch is chasing this fleet. You want to upgrade your ships right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you think you can take a good fight, I guess you can take a good fight. But the safest play is just to chill until you get Castle Age.
Yeah, and then get Botkin. War Galley should be enough. I don't think he will be able to afford ballistics, though, immediately.
It's cheaper with Italians, maybe.
Yeah, fun fact, those galleys actually have a ballista in the front. That was from a Reddit post I read, I think, a couple of days ago.
Yep. Oh, a little bit of a decent fight there for Slam.
Yeah, you could say that he's slamming his opponent in the face on water.
Yeah, nah, he still lost 2 ships, actually. Anyway, third dock now coming in here for Vinchester. And very shortly we'll be hitting Castle Age. The one fire galley might be pulling the regular galleys out of position just a little bit.
Yeah, that could be problematic because Vinch wants to keep that fishing eco alive. But that's Castle Age, Botkin, and the War Galley should be something he can squeeze in as well.
Yeah, that's...
Where's War Galley? Hello?
War Galley.
He's fishing into fire ships now. What is Vinch doing?
War Galley.
Like, it's better to get the War Galley upgrade at this point than get a couple of fire ships out. Forging! What?
And now War Galley.
Forging? No, okay,
and
okay.
Town Center.
I think that's just the wrong hotkey. That forging had to be a wrong hotkey from him. Like, forging in this game would have been the biggest disaster. It's not like you're...
No.
So, and look at this.
Cancel it.
He could actually intercept this fleet. He could have destroyed it with War Galleys, but he's gonna be late. He still has Botkin, though, and War Galley will kick in just in time, but this could have been way better. He could have sandwiched that fleet in between his 2 fleets. Yeah, this is good enough. Is it good enough?
I feel like that's plenty good for Slam.
Yeah, Slam is outnumbering that, and you really have to ask the question if you should have allowed Slam's galleys to group up, because I feel like that earlier War Galley would have helped us so much, just damaging the other galleys before they can regroup with the rest of Slam's fleet. And Slam is only 30 seconds away from Castle Age with 13 soon-to-be War Galleys versus only 6. There's gonna be fire ships, but I am not 100% convinced in Vinchester's gameplay here.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing. At least he is up on the 2 town centers already, so he will be getting a better economy than his opponent.
Yeah, but I think if you look at Slam can afford a second TC as well, but instead chooses to go for ballistics, but even now he can afford a second TC, so I feel like Slam is completely fine here, and I would borderline say that he's now dominating this game. Once War Galley kicks in with Botkin, he's just gonna eat his opponent up, and now the fire ships don't do much, because it's gonna be against War Galleys.
Those are low HP galleys.
Low HP galleys?
Yep.
No, they're not low HP galleys.
No, some were just killed.
Oh, I see. But still, if you look at this, Slam is going ballistic, Slam can afford a second TC, and the fire ships are great when you're fighting against simple galleys, but no longer against War Galleys. Vinch is also gonna go for his own War Galleys, but we have mentioned this, Portuguese galleys cheaper, stronger. That's going to help quite a lot for Slam, but he needs to go for a second TC here, that's for sure.
Yeah, ballistics, or University 4 ballistics coming in now for Vinchester. He's a comfortable 7 villagers ahead. And Slam just chilling right now, not really doing a whole lot.
And Vinch might actually find Slam's fishing eco here, which would be a disaster for Slam. But he decides just to completely ignore it. It's 16 War Galleys versus 13 and 4 fire ships, though, so Vinchester rebounded quite nicely in terms of ship numbers.
Well, I mean, the KD is exactly the same, so having almost exactly the same, military count is kind of accepted, or I guess expected. And Vinch being ahead by 9 villagers is pretty insane.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. That's where is it even coming from? Like
he's been on 2 TCs for a while.
He wasn't on 2 TCs for that super long compared to Slam.
Slam is still on 1 TC.
Yeah, you might be right.
And Vinch hit Castle Age at like what? 17, 18 minutes?
Yeah, by the way, it's actually something that we have to credit to him, that he was able to consistently produce 2 villas on 2 TCs. That's something that's not always happening on islands. So, developing the farming eco is something that Vinchester does really well, and if you compare it to Slam, Slam's farming eco is a much smaller, and that farming eco is a key to an early Imperial here for Italians, I believe.
Yep, totally agree. Third TC going to be coming in here for Slam, but it feels like Vinch is just kind of one step ahead of him.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it, indeed. That War Galley fleet could actually sink Vinch's fishing eco, but it doesn't change the fact that there's a 10 villagers lead. And eco upgrades are
also
nice.
Horsepower to no, wheelbarrow to no wheelbarrow.
Yeah, that's true as well. And Slam didn't even sink these fishing ships, so these will also working on as well. But Slam is dropping TC number 3, so he will be able to catch up with this one. I think that's the right decision, as he loses his fishing eco here.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely not good here for Slam. I think he's in an awful position. Vinch is going to be faster up to Imperial Age, like 10 times out of 10, and his fleet is already larger, even very slightly, but still larger, and he should be able to hit like an almost impossible to beat timing. Yeah,
that's the problem that Slam is facing. I mean, the free TC boom is nice, but if you get beaten to Imperial, especially with Italians and an aggressive player like Vinch, Vinchester could land anytime soon. You just need to land with 1 barracks, and you can start sending a condottieri to the opponent's eco. As Vinch also lost his fishing eco now, but he's only 6 on gold, but is soon thinking about imping, to be honest.
He's 34 on wood. Now sending more villagers over to gold. I like the 2 TC play. I think that it gives you a solid enough eco to get all the ships you need, but still allows you to really leverage the faster Imperial age that you're very likely to be getting anyway as Italians.
Yeah, I feel like I also love that Vinch is playing like semi-passive. He's poking and probing, but he saw that the fleet of Slam is on the north because he lost his fishing ships. So he went south, destroyed the dock, and runs back. So he isn't forcing fights, which means that he doesn't have to spam ships. In fact, he's getting careening even here, but that means that he can focus a little bit more on adding farming eco instead of just spamming villagers on wood and gold to keep adding ships.
Even a random demo ship, that actually might have been a misclick since there are no fire ships from Slam.
That wood line from Vinch could be problematic. Slam finds it.
Gold mine as well.
Yeah, that gold mine is actually very troublesome for Vinch, and he's almost done with the other gold mine. Look at that. So only 4 tiles remaining. Vinch going up to Imperial though. He does have buildings, and he's picking up relics as well.
Needs a little more food though.
Yeah, he's on the way.
There you go. There you go. Now you have enough.
And look at Slam, like, he's on 14 on food, which means that he can't even make free TCs work, let alone progress towards Imperial.
Yeah, it's... Like I said, Vinch should have a timing here that's going to be almost impossible to deal with.
I feel like one of the advantages of backdogs right now is that he can actually just camp behind them, and the thing is that the choke points are so narrow that if you have a demo hidden inside these dogs, that would be enough to scare away Slam. Slam cannot commit to a fight in this narrow passage at the back of Winchester's base because he could get demoed very easily.
Exactly. Vinch should land. I don't think Vinch needs to land. I think you just wait for Imperial Age and then you just patrol at your opponent with galleons and then win the water, and then at that point, if you feel like you need to land to successfully close out the game, then yeah, sure, go for it. I mean, Slam is going to surpass you economically relatively soon, but that's not going to pay off for quite a while.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have fast fires as well mixed in. I like that combination. Fast fires, we talked about that they're actually cheaper in terms of overall resource cost. And now if you are Vinch, as I said, you make one demo. You don't even need a demo inside. You just need a ship that is inside that dock, so that Slam is scared.
Trade cog?
Yeah, even a trade pog.
Well, Slam could easily be seeing the fire ships at this point, but I mean, what you gonna do when the imp attacks come for you?
And Vinchester is preparing a big surrounding action. Look at that. All those war galleys sitting north, and the fire ships are assembling on the right. He's waiting for imp upgrades, and he wants to sandwich Slam's fleet here, and that would potentially seal the deal here. And now, I think Slam will soon disengage upon seeing Imperial, but here come the fast fires from one side, and the galleons from the other. And fast fires alone will lead the galleons. That's gonna be enough fast fires, I believe.
That is... Oh, this is gonna be between the hammer and the anvil right now.
Yeah, I feel like he's just waiting for fast fires.
It's now too late.
Yeah, it's too late to...
Vinch is playing perfectly.
Yeah, Vinch, this is the real it's a trap scenario. There's also careening on those fast fires, and Vinch is even not committing much until he's getting Galleon, and Galleon's gonna be in... This is gonna be a slaughter.
Yeah, like, this is almost perfectly done by Vinchester.
Yeah, Spanish Armada sunk and Britain coastline.
Yeah, like, oh my goodness.
This is
just so beautifully done.
I have to say that this is one of the biggest water traps I've ever seen.
Yeah. Like, tactically by Vinchester, this game was almost perfectly. Even strategically, I mean, Vinch, like, played almost perfectly from a strategic and tactical perspective.
And Slam, at the end of the day, is 2 Voyagers behind, and he's going into Imperial. And now it's fast fires everywhere, and I think if you are... Like, there is a redocking attempt from Slam, but I think Galleons can just destroy those docks relatively easily still. And Cannon Galleons coming in for Finch. I feel like now you have to keep pushing, though, because one thing that you shouldn't allow is your opponent to just get back into the water, because we have seen this something... like, we have seen this so much.
Well, it's going to be kind of hard, because Portuguese don't have fast fire ships, and usually that's like the best unit to make a water comeback, because they're a bit more, they're a bit better in lower numbers. But Vinch instantly going for cannon galleons, like that's exactly what you should be doing.
Yeah, right now...
I had to make one criticism, I would like to see forward docks from Vinch.
Yeah, that's totally true. If I would have to make a criticism, I would love to see a monk being transported into the neutral line to pick up the relic, but... Like, at this point, look at those. Even those war guys at the back of Slam's base will be intercepted. And if, Vinch is kind of allowing Slam to redock here. It seems like he's not engaging anymore, but there should be cannon galleons coming in. Indeed, elite cannon galleon on the way. And you just need to shell those docks. And look at the score difference. I think that's not lying.
Oh, not at all. Even built the transport ship at this point.
Yeah, and funnily enough, the KD is 60 to 35. It feels a lot more, to be honest, or at least based on that fight. Especially now those war galleys will be intercepted as well. Oh my goodness. Or not. Or not.
Well, awkward.
I mean, Slam is on 4 docks.
Right.
Slam is on 4 docks, ship right, his war galleys are down, he's at no fleet basically, and he's trying to go for war galleys, but I mean, I'm not even sure if he can actually finish galleon before those docks go down, because the cannon galleon is there already. Slam is dead.
Yeah, that's...
And as I said...
like, I just want to say that this is a guy who I mean, I don't think Vinch is weak on water, but he could be weaker relative to Slam, who's a pretty good water player. That said, Vinch is looking like he's a clownfish.
Yeah, I feel like Vinchester is one of the most underrated players right now. Like, I think, based on the previous tournament performances, I feel like Vinch is right now the top 10 player, and as I said, I would have probably put it at least in the top 5 in terms of seeding, but 15, like seed 15 for a player like Vinch is disastrously low in my perspective.
Well, it was done just based on ladder rating, right? So, I mean, the seeding is kind of arbitrary.
Yeah, but I feel like the problem that you're having here is that um there is the problem of some of these players obviously may have lower level rating, but then they are more active in tournaments. So I feel like for top players, tournament performance is something that heavily influences their overall way, especially because like leather is on a certain preset maps, but it's completely different when you actually have to prepare for these special maps, so to say.
Yeah, and to be totally honest, Slam is looking completely outclassed.
Yeah,
Like completely.
like the thing is that the first game was a disaster for Slam because well, there was that whole things went the wrong way. I understand, but this game he got flat out outplayed, and it's not necessarily. I'm not trying to bash Slam here. Slam is a good player, and he's played well. It's about the fact that his opponent is playing with surgical precision so far. Like I've rarely seen a single mistake in this series so far from Vinchester, and as I said, he has been surprising player after player, and he was like this even 2 years ago. He could surprise top players. The problem is that he didn't have consistency, but now he's playing consistently. And as I said, we are talking about a player that was quarter finalist in Red Bull World of 3, for example, and barely lost to ACCM. Or round of 16s in KOTD3, lost to Nikov, though, 3-0.
I feel like Vinch, for me to really think he's like punching at that top 10-ish level, I need to see some wins against the actual top players. I feels like Vinch is a little bit of a bit of a gatekeeper right now.
Yeah, I think that's tricky because he can beat pros or like the top 10 players, but that's something that he's not doing consistently just yet. But if you actually compare it to like his, I don't know, 1 year ago self, it's brutal. We're going into Gold Rush, by the way.
Yep, I'm at 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm at 10 seconds as well. Let me bring up Capture Age and you can do the countdown.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, another Berber's pick on this map over here. Versus we have, I think, one of the less common Britons picks on Gold Rush. Britons are great on Gold Rush, but we haven't seen a lot of them so far. Maybe because the gold is so spread out and you need a kind of faster moving Civ.
Yeah. Britons are Britain's less good on Gold Rush than they are on like regular Gold Rush. I do really like this Gold Rush variant for Hidden Cup, by the way. I think it's it helps make the map less snowbally.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very, very good Gold Rush. Funnily enough, I think this is something that was close to the map generation Gold Rush. Like, it is just the gold being a little bit more spread out. And it's very funny that just small things like this can actually make a map a lot more balanced. Like, adding a couple tiles distance between these patches of gold.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking of gold, Slam apparently is not favored by the map generation gods over here because both of his gold mines are absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, that's certainly not ideal. Nevertheless,
Look at
not
Vinch.
the worst in the world in terms of walling.
I think the problem is being exposed to archers. Now, luckily for him, he's probably gonna be up against cavalry here, although you never know. Berbers could definitely go for archers, but I feel like compared to Winchester's map, which is like super easily volable with save gold, stone, and berries, I feel like that's a dream map for Winch and kind of a nightmare map for Slam.
Yeah, like Slam's map isn't a complete disaster, but the fact that Vinch's map is incredibly good would certainly be worth a re, but I don't think he'll actually scout his opponent before the restart time elapses.
Yeah, that's the likely scenario. And also, these are recorded games, so I think that the re's would be included in the Rex. Yeah. So, we don't know if there's restarts called or not, unfortunately, as I am fairly certain this is not going to be a restart, as Slime is trying a simultaneous Rhino lure and a deer push.
Does he have the APM of the gods? Turns out he's faster than us.
Yeah, he's faster than us. I can testify that. I actually played a ranked game against Slam. One of the very few players I actually played against.
Yeah, that's pretty ripped.
I was, I think, 1100 at that time, and I just wanted to go for like I was back in Europe then, and you know, I just woke up. It was like 10 a.m. and I was like, okay, I want to play a couple of games, you know, get some ladder games. I kind of want to felt, you know, feel good, enjoy myself playing, and then that's still like the end of Slam streaming times, and like back then that was the big issue of, you know, not finding opponents for a long time. Like that was one of those. Now it's, I think, giving you opponents much easier. But back then, it was like, I just got slammed. I was waiting for 2 minutes and I got slammed. And, well, he just slammed me, as you would expect.
I remember I ran into Kapach after queuing for like 30 seconds.
Vinch, the first major mistake that he has made in this series so far, running into the TC fire, loses half of the HP of that scout. As back at home, he is all safe. But now, Slam could just start chasing on that scout, and Vinch might not even notice that barracks that is coming up, which is, I think, a pre-mill or it's a post-mill rush. Or it's even a man-at-arms play.
This kind of seems like a classic drush, just based on the timing. It's like a little, it's obviously too late for a pre-mill drush, and it's a little too fast for it being a standard men-at-arms type of barracks.
I feel like it's actually gonna end up being men-at-arms, though. Especially with Britons. With Britons, you could try squeezing out 21 pop men-at-arms instead of 22. So, Vinch is going to save his scout, which is important because he might want to push in some extra deer. Speaking of deer, he already pushed it all in, so that's not going to be a factor. And it looks like it's 20 pop scouts from him. I hate scouts. I talked about this with Mambi yesterday. I'm not sure how you feel, but I think based on how vulnerable in general this map is, I hate scouts for this one.
Yeah. What I think it could be, though, go full MBL style, go up on 20 pop, don't do anything, and just add an eco upgrades.
Yeah.
It makes you a bit safer against, like, early drushes.
Yeah, I would love that.
Honestly, yeah.
I would really much love that, like basically a boom into Castle Age type of a scenario. But we have seen many players, as Slam actually plays Drush FC here, I'm just noticing. Or what's this? Oh,
no, he hasn't made anything.
It's a fake Drush into Naked Fast Castle, I like that. We have seen someone else trying this one, basically makes a barracks. And, like, this is basically, I don't know if he intentionally canceled the Drush or so, or this was the plan the whole time, but he's basically faking a Drush and he's gonna end up FCing this. In fact, at that barracks timing, Vinch might even think it's a man-at-arms and react appropriately.
Lita, Vinch never saw the barracks anyway.
I like the ASMR voice.
Well, I thought it was appropriate for the occasion.
Alright. So, Slam actually has pretty good eco here, so this Naked FC is working out fine, and honestly, it's scouts for Vinch. Like, whatever happens, whoever goes for scouts on Gold Rush, I'm starting to cheer against them on this map automatically, because I'm like, come on, man, what are you even believing in? Do you believe your opponents?
And he sees his opponent's walled too, which is like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing that you can hope for is that you will intercept the forward vultures. Sure, nice, but I mean, it doesn't change the fact that you're gonna be beaten to Castle Age by much, and your opponent can make 2 skiers to accompany the archers coming forward, so it's not like it's impossible to stop this. And Slam is gonna know that his opponent is on new scouts, because he sees that it's a full HP scout, and he knows that the original scout was weak already.
Yeah, and just to answer a discussion in my chat, I think that we slightly favored Vinch going into the series, but how dominant he's looking, I still think is a big surprise. And if it continues his performance against Slam and like wins like 4-0 or even 4-1, I think that would be an upset.
I don't think so. Like, as I said, I
Really?
think Vinch is very underrated as a player. Mechanically, he's one of the fastest players out there, and I feel like now is becoming very consistent in terms of decision making as well. he's also a little bit hard to predict because he's got some awkward decisions. Like, you know, he loves to mess around with civs like gods. You have an insane spear and scout dance over here.
Like this is just like you're talking about Vinch, you know, being super fast, and this is just like complete micro nerd stuff. It's so pointless.
Yeah, can we just appreciate that these guys were dancing there for half an hour and never a single damage was dealt?
Yeah.
I just jinxed it so hard. As now Winchester just tries to commit and yoink the scout, and then let the spearman deal with the Wolverino.
Ready.
And look at those resources actually for Vinch. That's crazy. What is that, man?
Nope.
I mean, the feudal boom is nice, but wait, that's because Slam actually went for quite a lot of vultures in feudal as well. He went for +6, right?
Yeah, no, he went for +5.
He went 24 up.
I thought he went 25 up.
I think it was 24 plus loom. He actually had a lot of vultures, and that actually buys a lot of time for Vinch now, who's gonna be on the way to Castle Age in a matter of moments as well. Slightly unbalanced eco. We'll have to wait a bit for the gold.
Yep. I honestly don't think, when all is said and done, I don't think anything here matters too much in the long run. I think they're going to be hitting Castle Age, and they're going to be on more or less even footing.
Yeah, like there's gonna be a couple of crossbows out for Slam, but it's gonna be something like... Actually, there is a pretty considerable lead there, but I feel like if Vinch just adds walls behind his palisades, especially on the front, he should be fine. And the early knights will be so much better than the crossbows that it's not like those 5-6 crossbows should do that much of a damage.
I don't like how Capture Age has bugged farm counts. Or like the amount of food left on a farm is bugged.
Yeah, that's somewhat unfortunate indeed. Because
I see 3 vills, and they're just gonna be building a town center.
yeah, Slamming's playing this one pretty passive, slow, long game here for himself. But he has to be careful because the Berber Knight Flood could be very devastating. Or you could just go for double stable Knights with Berbers and still boom behind it. I think that would be a better option here for Vinch.
Try to take map control, for sure. I don't think you just want to sit back and let the Fast Castle Britain player just add 2 TCs and chill and make a bunch of crossbow and steamroll you. But I think it's pretty decent.
Yeah, I think it's double stable and 1 TC from Vinch. He might even be able to afford a second TC.
Mandato.
Oh, poor Spearman.
yeah.
No, Ornlu, what have you done? The Spearman.
You're like 5 seconds ahead of me, so
No,
I just see what's happening.
I'm probably not 5 seconds ahead of you because the Spearman just died. But
Yeah, he still hasn't died. He just died now, for me.
yeah, then I'm probably 2 seconds ahead of you. But still, it was something that we could actually predict, as the pixelated wolves have resulted in what is the second unit lost for Slam in this game.
Yep. Not too much going on, honestly. Wheelbarrow coming in, second TC for Vinchester. I think if we consider, okay, like which civ do you actually favor here? I think I like it for Berbers.
I think in Castle I like Berbers, but in Imp I would actually think it's Britons.
If they can get like a really strong position, if Britons can, then yes. But I love the fact that Berbers not only have tons to do with gold, but they can just like attack at every single direction at once. And yes, Genitors are actually 137% legit in this matchup. I've used it all the time, actually.
The fact
like,
that you
every
have
single
used
time in
it
this matchup.
doesn't mean that they're legit.
I've used it and won with it against good players. At least, you know, relative to my level.
It's only +1/+1 knights, so they're not necessarily amazing, but there's a workshop coming in here for Vinch. It's not going to be an all-in, but it's going to be an aggressive 2TC play, and honestly I like that, because Slam is also on 2, now it's going for TC number 3, but Vinch isn't going to fall behind that much in eco, and he could actually apply a lot of pressure on these Voyagers on the front, but he kind of has to do it, otherwise he's just gonna get outboomed.
Yeah, not too sold on Vinch's plan here, honestly. I don't think he's actually going to be able to apply enough pressure to Slam before Slam just gets a ton of crossbows out.
Nice move from Slam over there, picks off the Knights. And yeah, I also feel like this layout isn't working out because he's not outbooming Slam. He's not actually pressuring him. Like, sure, he's going double stable Knights, but it's much, much more dangerous to have a lot of crossbows on the field than it is to have a lot of Knights on the field, so to say.
And it's also a lot easier to get a bunch of crossbowmen out, even if they're Berber Knights and they're 15% cheaper. It's still very expensive, especially since Britons also have a good eco bonus.
It seems like Slam thinks that there is going to be skirmishers coming against him, because he's making a stable. Or Siege
I guess
Workshop.
that sort of thing is very common against Britons, but nope. Well, I guess even the Scorpions and Mangonels can be countered by Knights or whatever.
Yeah, that could be something. He's also picking up relics quite early on over here, which could be a nice little boost for him. I always appreciate when players pick up relics on Gold Rush, because gold is just so important on this map. If you start running out of gold at your base and you suddenly don't have gold in the middle, the relics can help you a little bit.
Oh yeah. Especially, I think, Britons are the civ that are more likely to live and die by the middle. So I would like it even more if Vinchester was prioritizing them, but I mean, you will never see me complain that players are prioritizing relics.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it's 10 Vultures lead for Slam. What I like is that he's adding Vultures on Stone early, something that you complain about that many players don't do. And that is going to turn into a castle in about 3 or 4 minutes. And if that castle goes up, all Castle Age push hope for Vinch is pretty much gone.
But the castle is nowhere near up right now, and that's a big and scary army.
Yeah. And the Mangonels are still alive. Oh. Are we going to see Slam once again being in a good position and suddenly just dying?
One Mangonel was successfully sniped. One... Oh yeah, no more Knights left. Even Ornlu trying to help out Slam, but it is just not going to be enough.
Oh, there's a Knight.
We do have +2 defense in right now.
I feel like this was good enough for Slam's Knights. I mean, they killed the Mangonels, which is the biggest problem. Now Scorpion goes down too, and remember that Slam just needs a bit of a time over here. He doesn't have to annihilate this army, he just needs to slow it down, sort of. He doesn't have ballistics, by the way.
No. Yeah, no ballistics.
But look at Slam's stone count. As I said, in 1 or 2 minutes, that's gonna be a castle. And I think if that goes up, the Mangonel, Scorpion, Knights push isn't really gonna work out for Vinch. I think Slam is playing this one right. And so far, Vinchester has always been relying on a good timing in this set, like previously on the islands. He also wanted to go for, like, he didn't want to bring him 1 Scorpion. He wanted to bring him 2 or 3 Scorpions with Mangonel support. But that didn't work out in this case, and now the Scorpion's gonna get picked up by the Knight.
Yes, they will. Even investing in iron casting is Vinchester, so like he's really focusing on his military right now, but even so, I mean, it's Britons and they have 38 crossbowmen, or 36 crossbowmen.
Yeah, but they don't have ballistics, which hurts a tiny bit, and they also don't have armor. And it actually starts to matter, because without armor, it takes 3 hits for an iron casting knight to kill the crossbow, right? And with armor, it would be 4. So that even +1 defense here would help so much for Slam.
Yep, it is one of those kind of not seen too often, but useful to know breakpoints in terms of damage versus armor.
But the castle is up for Slam. He's only 5 villagers ahead, though, but his army doesn't cost a lot of food, and that's something that we have to point out.
Yep. Monastery now coming in here at the top for Vinchester, but that is so many crossbowmen.
And remember, they have 8 range, so they actually outrange the Scorpions or Mangonels. Although, the two players have fairly high ping in between them, so I don't think you can actually perfectly micro that in this case.
Yeah, not too likely.
Ready.
So, yeah.
Oh, Monk is now on the way. Vinch is up to 3 town centers and has almost evened up the villager count.
Yeah, Vinch is actually
But-
4 TCs.
Oh, yes, he is now.
And Slam is only on 3, that's why he's catching up in villager count, but I think Slam is now thinking about Imperial, and Gold Rush is all about gold control in the middle, and now Vinchester wants to flood more cavalry, adding 2 more stables. But I feel like Slam is just going to drop a castle in the middle here now, and just go for Imp and Arbalest. This is
There's
looking
always
good
one
for
thing
Slam.
Berbers are going to have going for them, though, and that's mobility.
Yeah, that's for sure, and those are just polycide gates, so Slam has to be careful. We have seen what happens when units run into his base, but I have to give him credit for look at the left side of his walls. House walls and stone walls behind. He's playing this one safe.
Yeah. And now that Ballistics is in, you really can't afford to just dance around with your knights if you're Vinchester.
Yeah, and there's the castle coming in very soon for Slam. Slam is going to be able to click up the Imp in a moment. And I think that he's going to drop a castle in the middle. He hasn't done it just yet, but I would be massively surprised if he didn't.
Mandatum.
Oh, he's even healing the crossbows with the Monk. That's so smart.
Well, I mean, what else would you do with the Monk?
I don't know, go pick up relics, for example, the one at the back of your base.
Ready.
Oh, yeah. I'd actually prefer that even over healing.
I think I actually appreciate the healing. Like, the relic can wait, it's not going to run away or so. But being able to have a full HP blob of crossbows versus like a 50 HP one is something that matters a lot. There's +1 defense. And Vinch, I guess, wants a castle in the middle heal with this stone voice account that he has, but he's nowhere close to Imp, and unless he's attacking in the next 1 minute or so, Slam is going to have a massive advantage. But what happens if he attacks in this time? That's a lot of knights.
Yeah, we're looking at 34 knights versus 50 crossbowmen. That is enough knights to deal with the crossbowmen, especially without Thumbring.
Yeah, and now Crossbow's focusing on the Scorpions, though, and the Knights don't have to directly fight the Crossbows, they just need to run past them and run into the eco of Slam. And look at the castle for Vinch. I think Vinch actually wants to drop a castle. Holy smokes, that castle.
Oh, is Vinch gonna hit the timing? Like, that, he hit at the perfect moment to get damage done. Like, if he was gonna get damage done, it was gonna be right at that moment.
Yeah, that, like, once again, Vinchester is, like, crystal clear with the timing. I'm not sure if he anticipated the Imp. He might have seen the score drop. Or, I think, do you know what would have happened? The second castle. The second castle is always a strong clue towards Imperial. From one player. Because you make that second castle for the traps mainly. So, in the majority of the cases, you time that second castle for traps. And now, there's only one castle for Slam over there. And, the bad news for Vinch is that he's still up against a lot of soon-to-be Arbs, and there will be at least one trap coming out from Slam.
I think that this is actually not good enough at all for Vinchester. He didn't actually kill many of the crossbowmen.
Yeah.
And his castle's just gonna get trebbed down.
He's gonna try pushing in rams, and he's going to... Well, if he kills a lot of vultures, it might be something I can justify, but you see that his knights are gonna get torn apart by Arbs with Bracer. Yeah. Like, Vinch is going up, but... In fact, Slam has the first jab out by now already. He's going to take down some ranges, which helps, sure. I think it depends on if Vinchester can keep that castle alive, and that seems somewhat unlikely. And he also needs a lot more numbers. But he can snipe traps with knights if he wants to. But, oh, the counterattack in the middle, though. That's beautiful.
Yep, this is gonna be some nice villager kills. I feel like if you're going for a big mid-game push, if you're Vinchester, I would have liked to have seen Knight plus Genitor. Like, in all seriousness. Just mass up a ton of stuff that kills, like, pure crossbowmen. And just, like, run down Slam before he gets his first castle up.
Oh my goodness, do you know how this game is gonna be decided? Look at the Winchester's base right now. Those Arbs are heading right over there, and it's like... There is more holes on this base than a Swiss cheese, and... Even though he sniped the trap, it won't matter if he loses all his eco.
Did he snipe a trap?
He did. That's a new one.
Okay.
That's a brand new one.
Yeah.
I saw him sniping the trap. He lost quite a lot of knights doing that, but if Slam just groups up those arbs and start marching into Winchester's base, Winchester can say goodbye to game number 3 here.
Yep. And still no sort of skirm or genitor or anything like that. It's just pure knights, and you can't fight pure knights versus pure arbalests when you're down by a lot, actually.
Yeah.
And now it's making light cav, which is an awful sign.
Yeah, that's an awful sign. Like, if Slam just starts walking into the base of Vinch would die, but Slam's playing this one smartly, I believe. He's trying to snipe villagers on the gold. By the way, those crossbows do have 10 range now, so they will just be able to chill in the middle and deny the gold. Like, Winchester is holding that castle for now, but it's 19 army against 51, and 10 of that is light cav.
Yep, but Imperial Age comes in.
Yeah, if you need one way to go back for Vinch, though, that's the way. So, if he can get like 20 cavalry on the field, suddenly, especially considering those crossbows are so spread out, he could intercept some groups here. He's down 20 villagers, though, and he just doesn't have the numbers.
Yeah, I think it's too far gone, honestly.
Yeah, Slam is already switching into halberdiers, so by the time Vinch cleans this up, there's going to be halbs, and Vinch is going to lose that castle soon. And that means that Slam is going to finish the other castle on the north. Because that wasn't finished off by Vinch, although Vinch will definitely try the Knights play here, but only 7 cavalry on the field. That isn't enough. He doesn't have gold. Like, right now he's off from gold. I think that's just not gonna happen for Vinch. Look at that. Arbs everywhere, and like, the timing was almost perfect for Vinch here. Previous game was a perfect timing. It was near perfect. It was just a matter of he wasn't able to kill as many crossbows as he hoped to.
I think that at that point, Vinch did the best he could, but if he was already in an awful position then, and I think if he really wanted to, like, his strategy to, like, do extremely well, I think he needed to go before the first castle came up with a bunch of Knight Skirm or Knight Genitor.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like he was a little too passive in like mid-castle age. That being said, he actually cleaned up one group of artists, but oh yeah, there's more. And Slam is just going to take that hill, and Winchester is just going to die to this one.
Vinch is down by 70 pop. This game is over.
Yeah, it looks like Slam is not giving up on this one easily, but like, Slam is playing fairly consistently. He isn't playing bad in any of the games. I feel like this one was just a bad game for Vinch compared to the previous ones.
Yeah, I feel like his strategy was fundamentally flawed, and I think it was it's a decent matchup for Britons in general.
Yeah, Winchester is actually going to be hard to kill. That's something that we have to add. That I think Bagum said once about Vinch that Winchester is like a jelly. You punch him in the middle and he expands to the side. So you always have to be careful about Vinch trying to raid his way back into the game, like he's doing right now on the left. So like, it's indestructible target versus an unkillable force or so. Just like this actually starts to remind me, if this raiding versus big blob army with orbs persists, actually starts to remind me Norway versus Russia Arabia game in 2v2 World Cup. Winchester was raiding left and right. Winchester was raiding left and right. MBL was dead. Like, MBL had 20-something villagers. But Viper had like 50 orbs with obsidian arrows. And the reason why that game ended is because the obsidian arrows started killing buildings. No one actually wanted to engage the other. They were just killing eco. And Winchester was doing so good in raiding that they were actually in that game, despite the fact that I think Dark was the teammate of Winch there. So Slam has to be careful about Winch raiding his way back into the game, because Winch is extremely hard to finish off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's all well and good, but Slam is just way too far ahead at this point. I mean, he was down 70 pop, and now he's down by, like, 40 pop. It's not good. Like, it's still very, very bad for Vinch.
Yeah,
but
still.
He's less dead than he was, like, a minute ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's still less than 5% chance for him, I think. But, like, he has the mobility, as you said, and if he's stretching out the defense of his opponent as he's tanking into camel archers, Like, you see, he's killing vultures left and right from Slam.
Is he, though?
No, it's Elite.
No,
Oh, let's...
a mess.
Why is that...
If you have a mess to clean up, what unit do you make?
Janitors! Elite Janitors. And let's be honest, Elite Janitors will eat the ARPs here. And the Vulture count, look at the Vulture count right now. And as I said, Vinchester is very, very hard to kill, and he can use the cavalry to snipe traps. He will secure gold for himself potentially over here. Yeah, don't count out Vinch yet, and that's another raid coming in all the way to the north.
And this is exactly what I was talking about in the beginning, with Berbers able to use their mobility all over the map. You could say that, okay, Slam is giving Vinch too much time and space. I would say that it's really hard for Slam to actually kill Vinch, because Britons are so slow.
Yeah, but that's a big mistake from Vinch. He ran into a bunch of halberdiers and arbs with the light cap.
That's awful.
Like, if that actually runs into Slam's eco, that would have been very devastating, but it didn't. Still, Slam is 200 pop, his opponent isn't, but if you look at the Vulture count, and really the problem is that how is... Like, Slam doesn't really have siege to back up his army, and now there is Janitors coming in to start dealing with those arbs. As I said, still, Vinchester is supposed to be dead. But you cannot count him out completely in this one. He just doesn't have the Janitor numbers.
Nope. Doesn't have the upgrades for them either.
Yeah, he's just getting defense upgrades. He needs a defensive cast on the right side of his base to prevent this push from happening.
31 stone miners? What?
Yeah, he's got stone miners all over the map.
Oh yeah, he does.
He's probably selling stone as well to get some gold. Yes, he will try to dive in on this one. I think he just needs to mass Janitors right now. That's his best chance. Like, keep raiding with light cav and mass Janitors. That's your best shot, because Slam doesn't really have a lot of siege working for you. And I swear, if Vinchester wins Gold Rush without actually having the middle, I'm going to scream.
Janitors coming in, and if they can start to pick away at the Halberdier numbers, remember, they do get bonus damage against Halberdiers now.
This is... I don't think this is good enough for Vinch. Like, he's gonna clean up a couple orbs, but it's not going to be enough. And by the way, Slam is stacking into Cavalier, and Briton Cavalier isn't that bad. Although, Vinch is doing everything he can. I mean, that's going to do a lot of expensive orbs going down, that's for sure, but Vinchester taps out. It was too far gone. He tried everything. Like,
yeah,
cast on the left side, Janitors on the right side. It was just too far gone. But you see why Vinchester is a dangerous opponent. Like, you can never count him out. He's never going to resign early.
Like, this reminds me a lot of my games. Like, I feel like there are so many times where it's like, okay, you're doing like everything you can, but Slam is just in way too good of a position, and it's just not quite enough.
Yeah, it's just not quite enough, as you said. But that brings us to game number 4, and fittingly, it's gonna be 4 lakes. So Britons are gone for Slam, and Berbers are gone. Like, given the circumstances, how much he was beaten to Imp, it's actually admirable that for a moment it seemed like he might be able to raid his way back into the game, because he did a lot of raiding damage, but I feel like the problem was that he maybe teched into Janitor too late, maybe lost all his light cav on the left into the Halberdiers instead of raiding with them, so the raids died out and he just died to the push.
Yep. Anyway, I am at 10 seconds.
Okay. And with that, I need to relaunch Capture H here, actually. Because I'm doing that after every game.
Me as well.
Oh, you're fast. Pro co-caster. Alright. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so here we are, game number 4 in this best of 7. Slam picking up the last one. You know, he was not in a great spot, down 0-2, but you know, hopefully this gives him some wind in his sails. He'll be the blue Japanese to the north of the map, and Vinch will be the purple Persians down to the south. It is the Cross Classic.
Oh yeah, the Cross Classic. It's interesting that we're no longer seeing Huns. At the beginning of the qualifiers, everybody was picking Huns. Now it's the good old-fashioned, just like as the Italians versus Portuguese play on islands. Now it's the good old-fashioned Persians versus Japanese, and I still like Japanese a lot more than I like Portuguese or Persians in this one.
I still think it's pretty even.
As I said, I feel like the problem that you're facing with Persians is that you will play with knights. That's not really a question. Like, you could play crossbows, but it's more likely you're playing knights. But you will struggle against the quick pikeman transition. Obviously, you can have thrash bows, but it takes so much time to tech into that. Well, not an awful lot of time. First of all, it would never be thrash bows without a castle, and in the early game, that's not really going to be a thing. But a crossbow transition takes quite a lot of time, and this game can snowball really fast to just pike and siege from the Japanese player, but in the forward castle potentially.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely like that's the Japanese player's best like option, but I think that it's a matter of preempting the pike switch and either getting that earlier defensive castle to just keep you alive while you get your Omega Boom on, or just like going for maybe some crossbowmen yourself. I mean, Persians have fully upgraded crossbowmen in Castle Age, or Knight Skirm if that is what you need to be doing. Watashi?
Okay, there's a dog coming in here from both sides. I like the way that Vinch is actually keeping his scout back to just make sure that there is no scout coming in to snipe him, and well, there is a scout from Slam coming in.
Yep. This is very normal looking stuff.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's normal looking. It's a normal game, so it's not like we have, I don't know, Licks or Ruben stock in this. You would expect the normal looking stuff from Dark Age from these players. Although not necessarily from Vinch, but definitely from Slam, I would say. Slam is a conventional player. He's not going to make things messy.
Yeah, I think the only like deviation is that Vinch went for the dock later than he needed to. Or like he had the option to go for the dock like pretty much right away. We see the Finnish players do that. But he went for a much more normal time. He's still going to be like a villager ahead just because he has that necessary wood income. But now we're going to be seeing some Japanese fishing ships working out pretty well.
All right. So, second board coming in here right now for Slam. Let's see how many deer they push in. Slam either pushed in 1 or 0. Vinch actually pushed in more. And as I said in the previous series, I like that you push in the deer more at the beginning, because that actually saves a lot of turkeys or geese or whatever you have as herdables for H2. And that helps your transition to land food eco.
Yep. Definitely agree. It looks like it was just 1 deer pushed in for Slam and then 2 by Vinchester, since there are 3 remaining for Slam. And I guess we'll have to see what these guys are going to be going for. Are they going to be going for like the side pawns right away? Are they going to be trying to open with like scouts or archers or even men-at-arms? There's just a lot of different ways you can play this map, but notably neither is going to be doing anything too early when it comes to walling a lot, and that is actually a barracks now coming in from Slam.
Well, you kind of have to go for that, and the Slam is also playing Japanese, so could be good old-fashioned Japanese men-at-arms, which I think is a nice opening if you expect your opponent to open scouts. So we'll see what Vinch is up to, and it seems to me that he is going to play scouts. Oh no, he's actually adding villagers to gold. Even 3 going on gold. Where is the Sneaky Will at? Neither of the players are walling much, so Sneaky Wills are always a possibility.
Sneakyville for Vinchester, halfway across the map.
Oh, here she goes, wielding that bow that she never uses against the opponents. It's actually a recurve bow, by the way.
Ah, so it is. It's a big recurve bow, too.
Yeah, it's actually a huge one, in fact.
Yeah.
Borderline would call it longbow, to be honest.
I mean, it's as tall as her, so yeah, I'm gonna go with a longbow.
Yeah, it kind of feels weird, because the longbow wouldn't actually have that curve in it. It's called recurve bow. So, it's a longbow-sized recurve bow that the lady is carrying. And I'm just looking at the ladies chopping wood, because they're already carrying the double bit axe, even without researching it. All the models of the
yes.
game. We're actually having too much distractions today. With all these berry bushes and whatnot.
Oh, what are you talking about? This is like par for the course for me.
And Slam is doing the right thing, sending that one fishing ship on that pond. He doesn't need two of them, but one on that faraway fish allows him to spot the dock, and he reacts with nothing currently. Because he's too focused on his man-at-arms, I believe. Vinch.
Squid?
This actually gives a huge chance for Vinch, although Vinch isn't making a fire galley either. Vinch colonizes the left-hand side pond quite early on, so he will be messing around on 3 docks, and Slam also has a sneaky villager on the pond of Vinch. So this could actually turn into an absolute mess, but I feel like, as I said, Vinch is the faster player among the two, and that could help Vinch over here quite heavily.
Yeah, definitely could be the case. Notably, Vinch is just in more places faster, simply because he didn't open with any sort of land army. He just went purely for the water play. Currently, the Japanese men-at-arms not really getting a lot done, other than forcing some idle time and some walling. But they are still a looming presence.
So to say. And now, fight on the north for the pond. Left side is Vinchester's one. And Vinch isn't noticing the dock on him right now. He sees it, but he isn't he saw the dock foundation. Okay, now he sees the dock as well. So he should go for fire galleys.
He got Town Watch very early on.
Yeah, but here's the deal. I feel like he's too busy with the man-at-arms. Those man-at-arms aren't killing anything, but it's distracting Vinch, and he won't notice that he's getting pushed on his own pond. Like, still no fire galley from him. He's also low on wood because of all those quick walls that were needed. And now there's an archer. Oh boy. Slam Daddy's coming back into this one, because now Vinch is getting punished pretty hard for making no land army. And Vinch?
Indeed he is. He's just now building an archery range. And yeah, Vinch also was taking a kind of a bad fight with his fire galley, allowing his opponent to repair his fire galley without Vinch able to repair his own. And this is going to be a bit of a problem, although still, the one thing Vinch has going for him is he has an eco lead because he has the western pawn uncontested.
Yeah, but you also have to keep in mind that one out of his 2 wood lines are an absolute disaster, and now villagers are actually getting killed on it. And Slam could also move out to the right side pond soon, and Vinchester's fishing eco on the south is going to get pushed, so yeah, he's got untouched on the left, but his starting food eco at the back of his pond is actually going to be crazy. But he's going to try and get up to castle age here. That's a greedy fast castle.
It's definitely greedy. Nani. And looking at the western pond, Slam is now there with his own villager, and he sees the house, so he can easily imagine that his opponent has a dock there himself.
That was overly greedy. Loses 2 more villagers on the wood line, and Slam now has a 4 villagers lead. And Slam is just about to kill the fishing eco of Vinch. Vinch is gonna be down to 0 food eco.
Yeah,
and
that's certainly not ideal.
And that's not castle age. There is gonna be no castle age, which at the end of the day is much better for Slam, because he's starting to establish his land-based food eco. He's gonna have his own pond safe.
Hot take. Slam actually in a good spot after being 12 kills and 0 deaths.
Yeah. 13 and 0 sounds good to me. Now Vinchester is actually going to counterattack the pond. Because Slam, I think, underappreciated the amount of fire galleys that could be there in that dock. Although it seems like he's still winning this. But Vinchester was waiting to pop out a navy, and he was successful doing so. But there is no repair wheel here for Vinch anymore. He's moving to the right side.
Yep. No dock over here whatsoever. Slam just about to finish his first fire galley, and Vinch has absolutely nothing in the western dock.
And look at the right side as well. I mean, men-at-arms chasing down these skirms here. So much idle time as well for Vinch because of this.
Yeah, this is really painful, honestly.
Yeah, it is. And if you look at Slam, he's got a fairly balanced eco. He's now pushing Vinch to fishing eco. Vinch is gonna have no food eco left in a matter of moments. Like, he's got 8 villagers on food. Out of that, I think it's basically all on the berries. Or, well, the fishing ships on the left will die soon.
Well, the fishing ships in the north are in jeopardy now.
That's true.
Even a good demo raft hit onto the fire galleys won't kill both of them. That's just not possible.
It wasn't even a great demo hit, to be honest. But, yeah, I feel like at least Slam has some sort of land eco, and more importantly, he's closer to Castle Age. And, like, he's chasing down villagers inside Vinchester's base with archers on the left. And he's gonna
it's 19 kills to 7 deaths in favor of Slam. I think he should have this one.
Yeah, and he's still gonna afford Vulture, and there's the stable coming in for what is going to be Knights eventually right inside the base of Vinch, obviously probably sealing the deal here. Because by the time Vinch actually starts rebuilding his fishing eco, he's gonna be long beaten to castle, and Slam has a good enough eco to start adding Vultures on food on land, whereas for Vinch that's not really true.
Yep. And this, again, the initial strategy choice from Vinchester was questionable. He went for the triple dock play, one in the south, one in the north, and one in the west, and had nothing at home to defend. And Slam just, with a much more straightforward, you know, standard push in early feudal age, from one initial dock and then bringing the villager forward, just completely wrecking Vinch.
Yeah, now, Slam is gonna have docks on all 4 of the ponds, and I think at this point it's enough for him that he is making sure that Vinchester doesn't have fishing eco there. He doesn't need his own, he just wants to make sure Vinchester doesn't have any either.
I mean, Slam already has several farms, still has his berries. Vinch only really has the berries with which to work.
Yeah, I feel like Vinch might actually tap out upon seeing his opponent in castle. And look at this. For Slam, he might even intercept those vultures on the right on the dock if he sees that dock. So he's got 2 archers, that would be perfect use for them. And that would be -2 more from Vinch. And yeah, like Vinchster actually has barely any operational food eco, just rebuilding his fishing eco, but it's going to take quite a lot of time until it kicks in, and I think Knights and Siege Workshop should be enough to finish this.
Yeah, I mean, Vinch is still not clicking up, guys. He's only at 100 food.
Well, he could actually do some heavy eco balancing, that's for sure. But I feel like, yeah, indeed, he's going for a market. But crossbow, that Fort Vulture being lost is actually something that Stan doesn't want to have happened, because that could have been a workshop here. And Stan now has the southern pond as he's counterattacking. Let's see if he actually goes for War Galley. It seems like he isn't.
Now, Vinch is in a terrible position, and he's like 90% chance going to lose this game, if not higher. But Slam is seeming to not be able to make anything happen with a big Castle Age lead.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's waiting for crossbows and knights, and now I think he starts killing things. And with the knights and crossbows on the field, there is, like, look at how Vinchester has to relocate his eco. So I think Slam did the right thing here, waiting a little bit until he's confident he isn't going to lose his early numbers. And, like, Vinch has to do panic towers, but Vinch is off from gold right now. And look at those crossbows behind the wood line for Slam. That's beautiful. Just harassing, denying the wood line. And at this point, I think Slam can actually start playing for wood denial.
Yeah, definitely. Vinch is trying to reclaim with some fishing ships, but it's just such a bad position for him. Massive amount of idle time.
He's got like no eco, 46 minutes idle time. He's on the way to Castle Age, but I struggle to believe that he will be able to afford going for knights over here. In fact, yeah, now the knights could dive in, try to snap the archers. Crossbows will actually run in and camp the bottom of the tower. Look at that distraction. That's beautiful from Slam once again. This game is omega over.
Yeah.
I mean, you will not get rid of those archers anytime soon. Look at that. That's so smart from Slam as I'm bringing the knights, killing the skirmisher, at least attempting to do so before they would kill the crossbows beneath the tower. That's actually very, very smart as well. In fact, you have to kill them before. That was a little sloppy from Slam, but Vinchester reclaims his gold over here. He still has the eco lead, and he's got control over the left-hand side pond, but oh, look at on the south. That's Slam spawned, right side Slam spawned as well. The north is Vinchester spawned, but he only has 2 fishing ships over there. And the only thing I'm missing from Slam is the Siege Workshop, but look at that, crossbows on the left wood line as well. I feel like Vinchester just doesn't know where to go. He's getting torn apart from multiple directions.
Yeah, but I'm not super sold on Slam having 20 million years of idle time, i.e. almost 4 minutes idle TC time this game.
Yeah, that's true.
He should have a massive eco lead.
Yeah, he should. He's still causing insane chaos inside Vinchester's eco, but Vinchester is okay rebooming into messy games. We have seen that before. So Slam has to be careful because, once again, he's got the lead. In fact, he should have the lead by a massive margin, but reality is that Vinchester can potentially stabilize over here if Slam isn't able to finish this game off soon.
I mean, like, again, it still should be a very, very straightforward win for Slam.
It should be, yes. You
It's
are
just like a little bit of anxiety, I guess, if you're a Slam fan.
Yeah, this is still a good move though. Once again, camping down the gold mine. Vinch can go back to the other gold now, but I feel like still no golding. I mean, he just can't make knights. That's the problem for Vinch. It's not like he's actively dying, he just can't make units, and slowly he's going to fall behind. And if you look at his food eco, he's got 21, but 8 of those are berries. And really, I think, as I said, only thing that's missing is for Slam is Siege. Oh, there is a Knight's counterattack from Vinch though, killing a couple of vultures from Slam.
Definitely decent. I don't like how Slam hasn't added an additional town center until right now, and didn't have any forward buildings other than one stable.
Yeah,
I feel like there should have been more plays either economically or aggressively.
Look at this cleanup. And now, at the end of the day, there was an awful lot of idle time, but the army numbers on land, it's 3 knights, 3 crossbows against 6 knights, 58 to 56 vultures. Slam has a lot of idols. Is he letting this slip out of his grasp?
Not the biggest fan of how Slam actually utilized his castle age. It was like he was so far ahead that he still got so much done and is still likely going to win this game. But I feel like there are a lot of missed opportunities.
Look at Slam's eco here. Look at Slam's actual eco. The knights on it. Where is Slam's army? Slam only has fire ships. And those are Persian knights that will destroy the crossbows as well. And Slam's only stable is in Vinchester's base. Slam's got no defense against this one, and those villager idle times will equal out very soon.
Yeah, well, Vinch still has around double that of Slam, but now Vinch again with the villager lead. Slam is on 3 TCs now, though, so he can recuperate his own villager losses. He just needs to get everything in order, and Vinch's knights have absolutely awful upgrades.
Yeah, but they still killed up the cross. Oh, there's the counterattack from Slam coming in here. Slam has +2 defense, but no bloodlines either.
Vinch going to be able to intercept that. Husbandry even coming in here for our purple player. But no second town center for him unless he buys it, since he did have to build that defensive watchtower. But the scores are getting more and more even, and that is, I think, rather alarming for Slam.
Yeah, I feel like the problem in situations like this against Vinch is that Vinchester was pretty much supposed to be dead 5 minutes ago, and now this is, I think, an even game. We can say that. And there's going to be Mangonels pushing up, and Slam has to be careful because he doesn't really have a huge army. In fact, as I said, he's got 1 knight on the front, and if Vinchester gets the upgrades for his knights in, that could be a disaster for Slam. Both players with 2 pawns right now. Slam actually wants to take back the northern pawn here.
Yes, he does, but there really aren't that many fish left, so if he's going to build fishing ships, it's going to mostly just be for the benefit of fish traps. Still, though, Slam had a very nice raid, killed a bunch of Vinch's villagers, but Vinch going to try and return the favor right now.
Absolutely, and it's still 70 villagers now for Slam, so he's taking over in eco, but 19 army compared to 22, but 10 of those are fire ships. It's 8 crossbows, 2 knights, and 2 monks versus what is going to be a lot of Persian knights that destroy crossbows so easily with Mangonel support, and there's not even a siege workshop for Slam here to defend against this one.
No, there is not. Overall, still a very nice population lead for Slam. Vinch is just stuck on the 1 TC right now. It is a Persian TC, so it's less bad, but it's still bad to be down so much. And Vinch has to make something happen right here, but it's still going to be a bit of a tricky hold for Slam.
Yeah, now, Vinch actually lost a couple of villagers on his original gold mine as well, because Slam keeps streaming knights into his base, and there's redemption, so that was the plan. We're just seeing that so frequently on this map, because it's always Japanese versus Persians, and Persians usually push with knights and siege, and Japanese usually respond with monks and redemption.
Yep. Still, 3 mangonels attacking downhill against the town center is going to be a bit of a pain.
And how many villagers do you have on gold for Slam right now?
0.
Yeah, 0. Exactly. Which means that no more knights are coming out, and as I said, the upgrades are getting better and better for Vinch. He's only behind by 11 villagers, which is not the end of the world, I believe, considering how much pressure he's doing on his opponent. I think you can dive into
No,
this
redemption,
one.
no sanctity. Vinch just needs to right-click on the monks.
I think you can dive in here if you're Vinch. And,
Yeah, or you can just, like, go kill him.
and those are Persian knights, so they absolutely shred the crossbows. And now the TC is gonna go down. And look at Slam's idle time. It is equaling out. Vinch is back in this, and this is why Vinch is one of the most dangerous players out there. You think that Vinchester is dead, and then suddenly he turns it around, and he's just so hard to finish off. It's insane. And look at that, he's gonna find the gold mine, he's finding the wood line, Slam is falling apart, and this is gonna be a free one for Vinch.
At this rate, yeah, it's looking awful for Slam. Already losing 1 TC, now with an insane amount of idle time. Just most of his army being fire ships right now. Not the most useful thing in the world. He does have Japanese pikemen, but just so few of them.
And no upgrades. Versus a lot of Persian knights with now +1, +2. There's actually a Maginot conversion that was a little bit sloppy from Vinch allowing that.
Just right-click the monk, it doesn't have sanctity. Oh, Slam loses the monk, that's really sloppy.
Yeah, and that second piece is also going down, at least at this rate. Come on, Vinch. That was a nice move from Slam jumping back into the TC here. Slam is piling up stone for defensive castle, but I feel like his eco is now in ruins.
Oh yeah, now Slam has a massive, or I guess not massive, but he has a pretty big idle eco disadvantage, and he was ahead by over an hour of idle eco time earlier.
Yeah, exactly, and like Vinchester also has the mobility advantage, so he can just keep raiding and raiding. Vinchester, though, I would love to see some more siege coming in from him, though, because or something to fight those pikes, because soon there is going to be a lot of pikes, and we'll hit the same bottleneck that we have hit so many times in this one, which is, how do you deal with Japanese pikemen? You have to make the expensive tech switch, but finally Vinch is making that with the crossbows. And now Vinchester is firmly controlling this game, I think.
Yeah, it's not over yet, not by any means, but he is, as you're saying, a firm advantage, and Slam with no gold income whatsoever, it feels pretty painful.
Yeah, I think, like, Sam is still alive. If you look at the eco, it looks nice. He's gonna reclaim the gold. The problem is that he's one step behind now, because the tech switch from Vinchester with the crossbows will just be able to pick off all the pikemen. And there's still a lot of knights here to keep raiding, so you can just keep sending those knights to the back of Slam's base. You know that the pikemen are on the front right now, so you see Vinchester's already sending 4 knights to raid at the back. Slam is actually trying to consume that stone mine as fast as possible, as if this was an Olympic competition or something.
Yeah, but Japanese don't get stone shaft mining, so feels bad, man.
And here come the knights. Slam is going to try and react. There is one monk around to help clean this up. Vinch, there... Wait, Slam wants a castle on that hill. I thought this is Vinch's castle, but that is a big no. That's a big no. Even without ballistics on those crossbows, you don't want to throw away the knights like that. But even just a couple of crossbows should be able to hold this. And look at that. Even with one knight converted, once again, Vinch finds a couple of vulture skills on the wood line, or at least he could. Oh, look at that micro. He drags away 2 knights, and then leaves the one back to keep killing vultures.
Oh, that's cute. That's really cute. Okay, now the defensive castle's incoming with it. There are already mangonels here.
And remember that Slam was busy microing his units at the back of his base, and that castle isn't going up. Because the crossbows are now here. Slam has 2 pikemen on the field.
He doesn't even have scale mail armor.
He's nothing. He's absolutely nothing. I am not a big fan of sacrificing those knights to the TC fire, but I loved... And behind this one, Slam is also killing the stone, or Vinch is killing the stone miners of Slam here at the back. Look at that. There's just so much distraction for Slam here.
Vinch is ahead 30 pop now.
And another castle attempted, but I'm honestly unsure if that castle actually goes up.
It could.
Yeah, you can just keep the crossbows there. Even if it goes up, just kill 10 villagers and you're good to go. If you're Vinch.
Yeah, he's already ahead by 20 vills right now. And Slam has, like, no army.
Vinchester is trying to stop the other castle as well. I think that could be a doubled out castle. It's a doubled out castle. 90%?
I think Slam gets this one up. Yeah.
That's a little bit sloppy from Vinch. Because he could have stopped it. He could have stopped it, but he was too late moving towards it.
Yeah, it was like a little too late, but I mean now we're looking at around a 50 pop advantage for Vinchester.
This guy is going to team up with Doubt for 2 pulls. Just saying.
Why?
For, well, the ultimate Doubt Castle experience of us, I guess. Because that was a true Doubt Castle. Right now, Slam's at 71 pop. And look at Vinchester's castle position on the right side. By the way, Vinch could just make a castle and go up to Imperial and trap this one down. It's not like it matters. In fact, Slam didn't delete that castle, I think. So he actually lost all the stone. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the case. He sent the vultures, trying to get it up, but at that point it was over, and you can never count out Vinchester. Vinch takes game number 4 over here. And Slam, currently, as you said in the first game, or after the second one, he just feels he's getting outclassed here by Vinch.
Yeah.
Because
it seems like Slam is playing not horribly, but his ceiling seems to be lower than Vinchester's in this particular series today.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like Slam is playing consistent, he's playing good, but Vinchester is having his better forms today, and that is showing off over here. Japanese are gone for Slam and Persians gone for Vinch, which means we're going to the final home map of Slam. Oh my goodness. Slopes, here it comes, and guess what? I guess Vinchester is gonna pick Indians here versus what? Franks, maybe? Byzantines, Lithuanians? What is the plan here for Slam? I don't see that Civ for Slopes.
It's Franks.
Should I cry or should I laugh? Because I feel like this is an awful Civ matchup.
I don't think it's a disaster, but it's not great.
It is. What time are you at? Oh, that's the wrong game. Whoops. Sorry.
I'm at 10 seconds. Just need to relaunch Capture Age.
Yeah, don't worry, because I actually went to the wrong game. I restarted the cross game instead. But alright, I am what time are you at? Are you at 10?
Yes,
I'm gonna do the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright. Match point could be the very last game in this qualifier. We've already been live for a little around 8 hours, I guess.
Yeah, it's actually 3 minutes shy of 8 hours. The brutal thing is it doesn't feel like it's 8 hours. It's only 3 sets, and like it doesn't seem like we casted a lot of games. In fact, we didn't cast a lot of games at all, and it's 8 hours already. Yesterday was 11 hours.
Well, I quit after 7 hours.
Yeah, I know. I don't quit after 2 series, and I was there for 1 more that was like 3 hours. I'm actually very, very happy that I decided to bring in or get people to co-cast for this weekend, because doing this alone would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, it's definitely much easier with a co-caster for longer days like this, but
there's gonna be long days on the main event as well, I think, because I think we're gonna have 4 best of 5s on those days. Although it's gonna be Rex, so it's a little bit easier, and there's going to be there's probably gonna be little downtime as well between them, because you know it is Rex, and there is no interviews because of the hidden identities. So we're probably not gonna have 20 minutes of the downtime between games, or at least I certainly hope so. So Franks versus Indians, how is this a good matchup for Franks?
It's not,
Yeah, it's not.
but if Indians commit a lot to camels and Franks can go like full pikeman monks and then drop a forward castle, then Indians can struggle.
Yeah, that's totally
It's
right.
certainly
Like,
not a disaster matchup. It's just you're Franks and you have to be very careful about going for knights. So it's like, you know, the Frank player is like, wait a minute, I just do knights and then drop castles and then win.
Yeah.
I do other things?
yeah, I think you're right about the fact that I think this has to be a well-timed castle drop. Otherwise, you could really be in trouble against Indians. That being said, the berry bonus is going to help compensate for the opponent's fishing, and indeed, we are actually going to see berries for the Franks over here, whereas Vinch is actually moving out to hunt over here. He actually killed the... Why did he kill that ibex already? When he didn't finish the mill?
I do not know. I don't know why he's even taking the ibex instead of the shorefish.
Yeah, that's the other question. I've seen so many players doing this, actually, that they started taking the ibex instead of the shorefish, and that's just weird.
Oh, you know why? In case of a drush, you can't get lamed. You can't lame ibex that are already taken.
Yeah, that's true. That's totally true. But I don't think that you have to be afraid of the rush just yet, but yeah, it makes sense, I guess.
Well, I think that this is still going to be a bit of a tricky matchup for Franks. Even Indian players going for Cav Archer, and if you can go for like Cav Archer plus Camel, that can definitely be a bit of an issue for Franks. And it's just with the power of getting to this early side resource, even if it's just, you know, hunt, it's still amazingly good here for Vinchester, who furthermore has the cheap villagers.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I am not really sure about the Franks here. You're right about the fact that this has to be something that focuses heavily on the castle drops in castle. But at the end of the day, by the way, we have free on wood for Slam, so it's a scouts play, 20 pop scouts for him. His scouts are also going to be better than the Indian scouts here, but I don't think that's a big factor, especially because there is no guarantees that Vinch goes for scouts. It could be fast man-at-arms into archers or fast trade archers. And it looks like 20 pop for himself as well, supported by all that hunt. Could it be a straight archer play here from Vinch?
No.
Yeah, it would be a little too tight as well. If he went for the shorefish, I think it could have been. But not with this.
I think you just go scouts. You go up early, just make sure your opponent can't kill your villagers that are taking these resources. And, you know, make sure you add in spearmen very early.
Yeah, speaking of not killing those resources, Slam knows about that mill now. He has scouted it. And he is going to be able to take the Ibexies over here. And then you can also finish off the shorefish faster. That also helps a little bit. Like, getting the shorefish with Indians is so fast. By the time the scouts arrive here, I feel like that's going to be completely fine for Vinch. I think that he needs one defensive spearman, but he should be fine with that bond.
I would even get a couple defensive spearmen. Yeah. To be honest, I really don't like how Slam isn't taking the side resources. Like, yeah, Frank Foragers are good, but I'd still, like I said, I have never seen a game where one player takes the side resources on slopes and the other doesn't, and then the person who doesn't take the side resources wins.
I think your sample size is a bit too small, but yeah, this is giving you a huge boost, especially with Indians with a shorefish. Like, Vinchester hasn't even gotten his eco bonus just yet here. He's just about to get the shorefish.
Well, yeah, I mean, he has the cheaper villagers, but not the
Yeah,
extra
but
gather rate.
like the extra gather rate is the big eco bonus for Indians, especially because the villager cost is an incremental bonus.
Well, I mean, for Indians, it's only 10% faster on the shorefish.
Yeah, but the
So it's not the biggest increase.
yeah, but it's still fairly big on a food source. It's already fastened. Look at Slam. That's a fourth Voyager from Slam here, sneaking on the left. What is she up to? Is this a forward? No, it's not forward stable. What is she up to?
Tower?
But
Seems
tower
like a
what?
terrible idea.
Like tower what? There is nothing left over here in 2 minutes. Like that would be an awful investment.
Archery range? Skirms?
Like he's definitely sneaking that girl around. That's for sure. So Slam is gonna be low on farms. So luckily for him, he's got the free horse colors, so that helps a little bit over here. But I have no idea what that lady is up to.
I mean, it's clearly intentional. Yeah, I don't get it.
I'm just listening to the short fishing ASMR right now.
It's very nice.
Nice and calming short fish ASMR.
Sneaky lumber camp.
No, it's actually a range. It's actually a range.
Range in term.
So that's the grand plan over here, but like I feel like by the time that actually starts happening, those villagers might be going back home.
Oh, I think it's more. It's not. It's less about denying the food income than it is just about attacking your opponent from an unexpected angle.
Yeah, but I mean, without anything else, those archers will have trouble getting through the walls, and by the time they get through that, there's time to react. Yeah, that could be the case. Maybe he's waiting for the opportunity to unleash the archers and the scouts at the right time. Vinch only has a couple of scouts though, and look at Vinch's food count. He's actually getting closer to clicking up to Castle Age at this pace.
Turns out the side resources are pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Slam is gonna have to re-wall his base. That's a nice one for him. And guess what? Vinch is going back home, and the first archer for Slam is already coming out here. This is the moment to shine for him, but I am somewhat of a doubter about the performance of this play here for Slam. Especially
it's like
because
when you show up to the party and everyone already left.
Yeah, like Vinchester can bring his own scouts back to help out. And now I think Vinch is gonna see, okay, archers and scrims coming. I'm not sure how this is different from making the archer range back at home, other than it's less likely for your opponent to kill them with his scouts while they're heading back to the front. That's the only reason why I can
Slam
see.
has a minute 30 idle TC time. Like, Vinch is 3 villagers ahead from doing nothing.
Yeah, that starts to be a disaster for Slam. Like, I feel like he's overthinking this build here. Like,
Yeah.
really, what did you gain from this archer range? Like, you get a couple of archers, but you lose that with all this villager walking them. Look at that, Late now has to go back home. And, like, this is sort of starting to feel like, as I said, overthinking it. Because at the end of the day, you're still marching your archer and skirm alone, and you see that the skirm gets picked off, just like it would have happened if you build your range back at home.
Spearman just gonna get picked off. I mean, Slam's like trying to make something aggressive happen, but I mean, Vinch is already up on the way to Castle Age.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I just don't like this.
Indians are so insane on this map, man.
Like, but it's not just about Indians. I feel like there was a hole the whole time, and Slam just showed it to his opponent. His scouts could have run in to the base of Vinchester the entire time, but he didn't notice it in time.
Oh, wow. That's awkward.
I feel like that is kind of sort of representing everything that we have seen in this series so far.
Yeah.
It's like the so close yet so far situation for Slam. And he's trying to break through here, but there is actually a tree behind that.
Yeah. Castle Age is gonna come in. Slam probably gonna be clicking to Castle Age around this time his opponent gets there, and I would just go for a bunch of camels right now if I am Vinchester.
Yeah, I think so as well. Like, it is double stables, it's fairly obvious now. Yeah, there is no way Slam gets in. And when the camels are popping out, they will just be able to clean up these early scouts. So you need like 2 camels to clean this entire thing. And Slam is on the way to Castle Age as well, sure, but it's gonna be a pikeman play from him. That might save the day still, because he's not that much behind. So
I think if Vinch then switches into Cav Archers, then Slam is going to be very sad.
yeah, Slam is gonna be really sad when that switch does occur. But that switch does have to occur, sort of.
That's true. That's true. Well, 2 camels out right now, and Slam unlikely to be taking a ton of damage right away, simply because Vinchester doesn't have any ranged units. But it always feels like he's at such a horrible spot. Actually, he's been mining stone with 3 villagers.
I
guess he wanted to go for a castle drop.
Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible that he's gonna pull it off. I mean, he's not in a good spot. But Winchester's camos aren't doing immediate damage, and the Cav Archer tech switch takes quite a lot of time. Just like you have the problem of tech switching into the crossbows with Persians on a cross, it takes a lot of time. It takes even more time to tech switch into Cav Archers. And Slam's Pikeman Castle Drop play could actually work out nicely here. This game might not be over for Daddy Slam here.
Well, I hope not, just because it would be really sad to see Slam go out with a whimper like that. Camels, though, going to be finding some random ranged units from that very effectual forward archery range.
Oh yeah, that range is going to be the most useless building in this entire game now.
Yeah.
And there's Pikeman. And there's all this scale, that's why I'm starting to like Slam's positioning a little bit more, because this map is extremely snowbally. And being able to drop a forward castle in the opponent's face can actually decide the outcome of a game very, very fast. And if you look at the numbers, it's 8 pikemen against 4 camels, sort of. Slam is hiding this one as well. That's actually pretty smart. So I don't think that Vinchester knows about this just yet. And by the time he knows, although there's fletching, there is the CA switch. So clock is ticking for Slam, who is also up against 2 TCs.
And I think it's just because the pikeman play is kind of obvious for Franks. Like, okay, you just
camels are in.
You force...
Camels are in. Those are Indian camels. They break through walls very, very easily. So Slam is gonna have to clean this up. But if there's one player that you would never want in your eco with just a couple of scouts or camels like that, is Vinch. Is going to make your life miserable.
It'd probably go Hera and Leary and Viper, but Vinch is probably right up there.
Yeah, honestly, I think Viper... Yeah, Viper, but I don't think that Viper actually over-micros it. Like, Hera and Leary are the real microners of this one, and here comes Slam. It's sort of an all-in. There isn't really a lot of Cav Archers here. In fact, CA with only +1 defense. So...
Vodka's about to come in, though.
Yeah, but the cat numbers are what is scary. Although there is bloodlines on these. It's about, you know, how you have to hit and run. You have to hit and run here, and that castle is likely going up. I don't think Ridge subs this. Which raises the question of what are you exactly doing if you have a castle in your face, and Slam's got 4 on stone. Just spam castles. I feel like...
Ballistic's on the way, and Vinch has like a massive eco lead. So I think he can just go for a counterattack.
Yeah, that could be the case indeed. Like, that's probably your way. Send a couple of vultures to stone like he's doing. Go for a defensive castle just to make sure you don't actually get stomped by what could be still some siege push followed up here. But you have to keep raiding with the Cav Archers, and the camels actually get through buildings really fast because these are Indian camels, and look at that, there could be another breach on the walls of Slam, so the Cav Archers could run in once again.
Oh, pikeman getting some nice pokes in.
Yeah, but Camel, as you said, Camel Cav Archer is something that the Frankish player is gonna have nightmares from.
Haha.
Yeah, I had this pun for 10 days. And, oh, Slam's vultures on the front are just, you know, running into the Cav Archers. And, oh, boy. Here it is.
GGGL next.
Oh, my. GL next, but in reality it's Salt's next, because this GL member isn't getting into the main event. Slam, I feel like he didn't play bad, and I wouldn't actually say that this is, you know, the Slam curse of just not being able to perform well in tournaments. I think the first game was a disaster for him with that hole. Everything else, he just got a better opponent, that's it. And as I said, Vinchester being at seed 15 is very, very low to my taste. As you see that Vinchester didn't just win here, he pretty much smashed Slam in the face. The only place where, like, yeah, the Gold Rush game was weird from Vinch, but if you think about it, he wasn't very, very far away from snowballing that either. If Slam had like a half-minute later Imperial, that would have been a completely different game.
Yeah.
So, Oh, that feels sad, man. Slam X is the tournament here. He has had a nice performance, but I feel like based on what we have seen from Vinchester in the last half a year, I think he totally deserves to be there in one of the biggest tournaments of 2020 or 2021 because really Vinch has found consistency. He's a fast player, he's an aggressive player, somewhat unpredictable as well, and I think he really deserves to be there. And I think I'm not going to say it's an upset. I'll have to check which part of Winchester's bracket was. But let's see. Winchester.
Oh, he beat Bugum.
Yeah, but I feel like if
I
you
mean,
if you just look at these brackets, he was on the same brackets with Project Belgium, Compton, Rise, Vodka, Noisig, GL.Slam. This was destined to be decided between Slam and Winchester, most likely. And at the end of the day, if I just take a look at this and I have to predict, I would have said Winchester for this part of the bracket because we haven't seen much from Slam in tournaments so far, but Winchester has been consistently performing on very, very high levels in tournaments. So you definitely consider him a top 16 player now. But I think if he puts up, I would dare to say that depending on who he beats, if he beats someone in the main event of Hidden Cup, that would be his ticket into the top 10 of competitive Age Vampires.
yeah, I think it's all about if Vinch can even take one set in Hidden Cup. I think that's just going to be so massive for boosting his reputation, I suppose.
Yeah, with that,
But that's it.
That's it indeed. And with that, Vinchester is the final player in the Hidden Cup for qualifiers.